Good morning. As you see, I'm all kind of cozied up in a corner because today I will not be reading you a book where there's pictures. Today, the pictures are going to be in your mind. And so I want you to use your imagination. First, we have got to do our rattlesnake cheer. Are you ready? This is a love letter. This is a love letter to the kind class of Boston and Bentley, Blaine, Cadence, Charlie, Claire, Gabby, Gabriel, Gunnar, Kaylee, Maggie, Sadie, and Raina. The letter is in the form of an adventure story to the ones I love so dearly. Once upon a time, the kind class discovered a wonderland of exquisitely colored creatures. There were colors of jade and fuchsia, tangerine, thistle, saffron, crimson, indigo, malachite, rose, tuscan, persimmon, ginger, periwinkle, and cobalt. The children knew the creatures were fragile and needed to be loved with care. And each of the children that very day and forever and ever adored the creatures. Boston chose the cobalt cheetah because he could zig and zag all day long with the fastest cat in the world. They ran and ran and ran and ran and never got tired. They even ran faster than the wind. It had never been done before. The cheetah even gave Boston a hairy cobalt glove with claws to remember their times together. This was a dream come true for Boston because he had never met anyone as fast as him. Now he had met a creature extraordinaire just like him. Bentley chose the jade calf with malachite hoofs and a spotted indigo tail because it sat beside him when he drew maps and pictures. The jade calf actually smiled sweetly at him when he showed him his creations. The calf would moo and bellow, snort and grunt. Bentley knew that the calf made different sounds to tell him different things. Only Bentley knew what the calf was saying, and the calf mostly communicated that he loved Bentley for his taking the time to spend with him, and occasionally it was for something to eat, because calves and boys do get hungry. He even laid his head softly in Bentley's lap when he wanted to take a nap while Bentley drew. Blaine chose the saffron and tangerine snake because it could wrap itself easily around his neck and could be with him when he made paper houses. Blaine knew snake talk, and he could carry on a hissing conversation with the snake. The snake asked Blaine very hissily for a snake house of his own, and Blaine built the most exceptional one with holes all throughout so the snake could crawl in and out till its heart's desire. Cadence took her time wandering through the wonderland. She knew that it would take time to find just the right creature to bond with. She moseyed into a meadow filled with butterflies and knew she had found the place she wanted to be. Cadence chose the persimmon and periwinkle butterfly because she loved to ride on its body with the beautiful wings flapping high over the land. And the butterfly had never in its whole life let anyone take a ride. She took one look at Cadence's kind eyes, and she knew she would never, ever crumple or tear one of her wings. The butterfly loved her because Cadence knew that wings were delicate and exceptionally unique. Charlie chose the ladybugs because each one had different hues of color, and she could not choose just one color. She loved all the striking, beautiful colors. Charlie, being Charlie, got on her hands and knees and looked each one of them in the eyes and told them she would love them even if they did not have colors. Each bug knew that was true and they loved her for it. Charlie promised to let each and every one crawl on her beautiful face because the bugs in Charlie liked to giggle. Claire chose the tiny thistle-striped cats with speckled tails because they could crawl in her pockets and she could take them with her everywhere to show her friends. She would wash them gently and softly with sweet-smelling soap, the kind that Claire used on her own hair. The cats would nuzzle with her at the break of dawn each day and nuzzle with her again at the end of the day. And the tiny thistle-striped cats with speckled tails knew that Claire understood them when she meowed. They licked her hands and ears, and often with their rose-colored tongues. Their love for each other was precious and never-ending. Gabby chose the violet fruit bat because it had a beautiful cape and hood just like hers. The capes allowed them to fly in the darkest and coldest nights and never get cold. And Gabby made sure the bat had its ears warm and snugly inside the cape. She did not want the bat to get frosty ears. The bat navigated close to Gabby by using sound. Gabby knew this awesome sense of sound was called echolocation. Gabby named the bat Little Violet Flying Hood. They would hang upside down until one of them flipped and dipped and yelled, "Let's go eat grapes," because they both loved the color purple so much. They never minded that their lips were smeared with juicy liciousness. Gabriel chose the crimson and malachite triceratop dinosaur. He named the triceratop Bear because he had a blanket at home named Bear. He chose the dinosaur because they could splish and splash in the mysterious scarlet waterfall all day long. They would burst up out of the water and splatter water all over their friends. No one minded getting wet because Gabriel showed them where the 3 scarlet-colored suns were behind the waterfall to dry off nice and toasty. The Triceratops gave them snacks stuck to his horns after a long day of romping and stomping. Gunnar chose the iridescent electric blue emu because it had the same color of spiked hair on the top of his head as he did. Gunnar and the emu loved when the wind blew through the unscary caves because it was a magic wind. No one had to ask if the wind had been blowing through the caves. They just had to look at these two friends' spiky hair to realize it had. Every time their hair color changed, they each yelled, "Yowza!" Kaylee chose the mandarin fish because of the psychedelic spectacle of waves, swirls, and spots of blues, greens, oranges, yellows, reds, and purples. She loved to swim in the deep rainbow waters with all the fish. They gave her the title Comforter of Mandarin Fish. She soothed their hurt feelings by caressing their fins and holding them close to her heart. She made them band-aids with little fishes on them. Kaylee loved to give them a smoocheroo because they could smoocheroo her right back. And Maggie chose the auburn and ginger curly-haired bunny because it reminded Maggie of her own curly hair. Maggie had a cushy backpack that had lime carrots shaped like hearts because, after all, Maggie knew what bunnies loved. And each night, the bunnies said their prayers and thanked Maggie for crispy, crunchy carrots. She was the first girl to ever grow lime carrots in the shape of a heart. Sadie chose the Macropus rufus, the red kangaroo, because it is the largest existing marsupial in the world. She loved doing jumping cheers with the kangaroo both inside and out of the pouch. She even designed a dress with shades of red and sewed an R on it in honor of her new friend. The cheers were loved by all. To get everyone's attention, she and the kangaroo would yell, "Cheer, cheer, Sadie and Roo are here." Raina chose the flower garden creatures because they were creatures that looked like flowers. She painted pictures of them in the shimmering sunshine and the glistening rain. She actually created never before seen colors because she saw such loveliness in them. Raina was never lonely in the flower garden as she enjoyed the many stories they shared. She told them what it was like to be a girl, and they told her what it was like to be a flower creature. After many days of joyful and intriguing experiences, the children hugged goodbye and traveled back to their homes. But before they parted ways, they decided something very, very important. They had all agreed during their 1,000 hugs for each other to share their friendships with the creatures because, after all, they were the kind class. I love you.